The things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts. So during the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubt. But to wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. So roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. And I have my doubt. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So no wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
1 Corinthians 12. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of God calleth Jesus accursed, and that no man can say that Jesus is the Lord but by the Holy Ghost. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another divers kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But all these worketh that one and the selfsame Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. But as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, Because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? And if the ear shall say, Because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now hath God set the members, every one of them, in the body as it hath pleased him. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary, and those members of the body which we think to be less honourable, upon these we bestow more abundant honour, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but God hath tempered the body together, having given more abundant honour to that part which lacked, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or one member be honoured, all the members rejoice with it. Now ye are the body of Christ, and members in particular. And God hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But covet earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way.
Good evening. It is January 5th, 2016. I'm Mike Callahan.
I'm Jennifer White.
And welcome to the Watchman News.
Oops.
You're all right, babe. You did fine. Just a little new intro that I thought we'd give a shot. Where was I going to start out? Oh, yeah. For new people here, we do normally start the show with a chapter of the Bible. We happen now to be doing what I call the Corinthians Project. And each day I have done a chapter out of 1 Corinthians, which I think really sets a good tone for where we need to be today and to keep us on the right track. We are a faith-based YouTube channel, website, you name it, but we don't cram it down your throats. Typically, we'll do a Bible chapter in the beginning of the show. If it's really important and pertinent, I usually will give a little discussion on it. Then we show the Suspicious Observers video for the day, and then I go on into regular news. Just for any new people here, because we have gotten a ton of new subscriptions and our videos have really shot through the roof. the views, and it's mainly because of what's going on in Burns, Oregon. Um, we just started a website. It's only been a week or so, and the watchmannews.com. Please go check it out. I have a lot of stuff in the background going on that you don't see on the front of the site yet. There's going to be a lot of menus added, a lot of different things added. Right now, there's a lot of important information there. Sorry, this throat thing is tearing me up. Um, there's a lot of good stuff on there, but you have to register. It don't cost you nothing. I don't share your information. I don't spam you. But you have to register. You'll see some different menu items pop up. Like right now, info is the main one that pops up, and you get all kinds of important documents. You get if you're a prepper, there's a lot of important prepper information there. I have literally a hard drive full of this stuff, and it will all go up on the website as quickly as I can do it. I took about a week getting the front page looking where I liked it. I felt comfortable with it. And anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about the website. Just let you know, the watchmannews.com, it will get better and better and better. So, wow, it's been an interesting last 3-4 days. I had a phone call today from a buddy of mine. And he called me out of concern because of what's all going on in the world, not just Burns, Oregon, but he watches several different news outlets. He knows that I do the same, and usually about once a week I get a phone call from him, and or I'll call him, and we'll discuss what's going on in the world. And wow, my attention has been put more towards Oregon and in the events of that, and I haven't really been keeping a close eye on what's going on over in Ukraine or anywhere else. We have to be careful of that. We have to be careful. The oldest magician trick in the world, which is, if they're doing something with the right hand, make sure to keep an eye on the left hand. And I haven't been doing that very well lately. Justin? Oh, okay. I thought she needed my attention.
I was gonna ask if you muted me, but you did.
No, you're not muted. She's thinking, damn the luck. Anyway, and hopefully my voice will be much better in the coming days. To give you an idea, I made like spaghetti for supper. I couldn't even eat it. I couldn't even chew it in small enough pieces to where I could swallow it. My throat is that swollen. And yeah, I'm very stubborn about getting help for health issues. But anyway, I'm alive. I'm making it. I'm here so far, knock on wood. But anyway, wow. So to talk about Oregon, we could beat a dead horse. Really, there's not a whole lot of information out. There just really isn't. Everything's kind of tight-lipped, and I do have my concerns for the things going on in that area. But there's something else that has came to light, and it's something that we better keep a very close eye on. And this is this gun control agenda. The one that the media, leftist media, by the way, would say, oh, Obama didn't come for your guns. So you still got your guns? Obama didn't come for them. Well, even I knew that it was going to be something done in his last term, because I'll tell you what he's about to unfold on the American people, we would chase him out of office with torches and pitchforks. That simple. We would. I'll tell you what, this is going to be done like Obamacare was done, and like many other things that were done, like the TPP, that we really weren't allowed to know was getting pushed through. It's going to be kind of an open thing. I'm already telling you, just wait. When he passes it, it's going to be an open thing. It's going to be something that at any time he deems necessary, he can go in and change the rules. Okay? That's the way it's going to be done. You can tell I'm not on on the top of my game here, but that's how he's going to do it. That's how he's going to handle it. That's how he's made changes in other things that he has gotten passed through, because he always adds that little bit to it to where he can go in and modify it. So keep a close eye what happens with this gun control bit, because that's what's going to happen, and it's going to sound all good and noble and like the right thing to do in the beginning, and then it's going to be turned into something very, very malicious. Right now they're trying to say it's for people that might be mentally distraught or mentally ill. Let me just remind everybody that over 70% of the population of this country are on some type of mood-altering medication. So where does that leave us? Okay, over 70% of the people. So if you went out there right now and took away 70% of the people's guns, I would say you might as well say you disarm the country. So we have to be very, very careful of this. Okay, now remember, not long ago, Obama, his minions and him, more or less, they came up with something somewhere, and that states that anybody that has any anti-government views or anything, they didn't agree with everything they said we should be thinking, that was a form of mental illness. Don't forget about that. It's going to come back on us. I promise you, we will see that come back, and it will get us. And they're going to go into the past on this too, by the way. If anybody thinks this is a new idea that was just sprung up, no, this was made up a long time ago, and they were waiting for the chance to put it in. That's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. Okay. What I was going to say with that is it's not just going to cover, let's say Johnny breaks up with his significant other. Let's say it's he didn't want it, and so he's an upset person, and so he starts to seek counseling to get help. Yeah, I mean, it's something simple as that. Boom, gun's gone. Okay? It's not just that, though. They're going back all through your lifetime. If you were 16 years old and you were confused like most 16-year-olds, and you got on some kind of medication just to kind of take, kind of take that fog away of being so confused and so rushed for so many different things. Let's not forget hormones. We're talking 16 years old here. Just from that medication that you were given at the age of 16, you could be in your 50s now. But they will be able to deny you the right, the inalienable right, not given to you by the United States of America, but given to you by God. That is your right. You have the right to protect yourself, and that's true from any entity. That's true from somebody coming in to trying to rob your home. That's true with a SWAT team coming in because they heard a rumor, and that has happened. I mean, that has really happened. We've got kids that get hit with flashbangs that are in their crib, right? When they go in this drug bust, it turns out even to be the wrong home. Oh, by the way, in that case, nobody was indicted, and the family had to pay the medical bills for their child. Yeah, we have to do something. And people out there may not agree with what's going on in Burns, Oregon. Sorry, it's hard to talk with this. People may not all agree with that, and I'm good with that. There ain't many people that I agree 100% with everything 100% of the time. That would be goofy. I wouldn't be an individual if I did. Okay, so what they are doing there, even though some people might think it's fruitless or, whatever the case may be, it's not. It's not. How often do you see an individual stand up to the federal government, or even a small group of individuals like we're dealing with here? You know what this reminds me of? Tiananmen Square. Is that China, I believe? Tiananmen Square? When that one man stood in front of those tanks and would not move. Yeah, this is what this reminds me of. And I really hope that people get behind him. Well, not him, them. That people get behind them with your own cause, but make it a real cause. And I'm not trying to demean anybody or their thoughts or anything like that. But hey, I've heard enough about Caitlyn Jenner or Bruce Jenner or whatever it is today. Okay, I've heard enough about it. I mean, I understand people should be allowed to be individuals, and we should definitely promote people being individuals. But we're losing a battle of humanity here because people are arguing over all this other stuff. And again, I'm not trying to demean it, but what they're not really realizing is when the right hand is dealing with Bruce, Caitlyn, maybe I should start calling her Braitlyn or something. That might help. Braitlyn Jenner. While they're dealing with that with the right hand, what are they taking away from us in the left hand? Okay, not all of you are going to agree with people smoking marijuana. That's good. That's understandable. But see, with the right hand, we're slowly dealing out medical marijuana, and now we got a few states that you can smoke it recreationally. While they're doing that a little bit, while they're giving us peanuts of our own liberty, of our own rights, while they're just giving us peanuts of it, they are yanking everything they can with the left. And nobody's really watching them. Normally when I see something take center stage in the media, I start looking everywhere else. I have to admit, I failed to have done so in the last 3-4 days. So that's my homework tonight after I get done with the show. I am going to find out just what in the heck is going on in the world. Okay, so, wow, I normally don't lead in with that long of a speech, do I?
No, not usually.
Wow, I'm telling you, this stuff affects me deeply personally. I'm on here, my throat is on fire. You could probably tell it by the way I sound. You know what? I don't care if I'm hoarse or can't speak after. I'm already hoarse, but but anyway, after the show, I don't care if I can't even talk.
Gonna say something, but
what's that? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Jabba.
Jabba the Hutt. Anyway, I'm normally not this long-winded. I've normally got other stuff or reading news or something other than me blabbering on. But this stuff is really affecting me, and I don't think we have a real long time to go before the camera comes down. I'm telling you. That's why Obama's doing this with gun control now. I wouldn't even waste any time in saying that this thing in Oregon could, in fact, be a false flag. I'm sorry. I have to entertain the thought. I have to entertain every single possibility until one of them makes sense. Now, it fully makes sense to me that the ranchers want control over that land again. That fully makes sense, and I'm happy with that. And I hope that's what it is. But we better keep our eyes open. We better keep them peeled. I hope this is what it is right on the surface. I really do. Because that's what we need. We need the people to understand once again that the power is with them, not with the government. We are the power. Something interesting you might want to research is called the Stockholm Syndrome. Okay? If you've not heard of it, do yourself a favor and Google Stockholm Syndrome, and you'll look at it will shock you. It'll set you back and be like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, let me get on with the next part of it. I was going to play, a lot of you may or may not have seen this video from Chris Ann Hall, and this is tied in and related to the Burns, Oregon situation. I'm going to play this video. She does a wonderful job of explaining it. I think she does great. So I'm going to bring her up, and I will play that. Let my voice come back. and I'll talk to you as soon as she's done.
I'm Chris Ann Hall. I'm a constitutional attorney, author, educator, and talk show host. Let's talk about Oregon, because it's not about the Hammonds. It's not about the Bundys. And it's time to take back the narrative. It's time to stop being directed and led by the media. It is time to stop being directed and led by the federal government's whims. It's time to know the facts. This is not about the Hammonds. This is not about the Bundys. This is about a federal government that is operating outside the supreme law of the land. The people are not acting lawlessly. It is the federal government that's acting lawlessly. The federal government has no authority to own any land outside Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 says that the federal government's only authority to own land is 10 square miles for Washington, D.C., and the amount of land necessary to operate forts and ports at the permission of the states. So if the states don't want the forts and ports anymore, they have the authority to withdraw the permission. The only other section that someone could claim is Article 4, Section 3, Clause 2, that deals with territories and then further expounds on the application of the ownership of land that we talked about in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Let's be very clear about this territories thing. Go read the Constitution. Territory is capitalized. This is a proper noun with a specific meaning, and the federal government owns no territory within the continental U.S. Territory is not even land that the government owns. Territory is land that the government holds in trust for the states. Once a state petitions to become a state and a member of the union, that is no longer a territory, and the federal government has no authority over it. You see, once a state petitions and becomes a member of the union as a state, it is an independent, free, and sovereign government. It's called the Equal Footing Doctrine, and even the Supreme Court of the United States upholds this doctrine. It says that every state that enters the union enters on the same footing as the first 13. Go read the Declaration of Independence. You'll see what that footing is. Independent, free, and sovereign. You cannot be a territory and be sovereign. You cannot be a state and still be a territory. The federal government has no lawful control over any land in the states outside forts and ports and 10 square miles for Washington, D.C. Show me in the Constitution the authority for the Bureau of Land Management. I challenge you to show me, because you cannot. There is no authority for the federal government to dictate to the states or the people how they operate their land. Do not recite to me executive order. There is no phone or pen big enough to alter the Constitution. Do not cite to me congressional act. Congress cannot pass laws to alter the Constitution outside Article 5 amendment process. Article 6, Section 2, Clause 2 says that no law made by Congress contrary to the Constitution is valid. Alexander Hamilton said the same thing in Federalist Papers 33. No law outside the Constitution is a valid law at all. The Bureau of Land Management, the federal government controlling our land, is a law that is lawless. It is outside the Constitution. Do not tell me the Supreme Court said this or that, because the Supreme Court does not have the constitutional authority to expand the power of the federal government or create new powers. That is not the role of the Supreme Court. They don't even have the authority to be the ultimate arbiters of the Constitution. James Madison, the father of the Constitution, tells us in 1798, as he's arguing before the ratification of the Constitution, hey, the Supreme Court of the United States is not above the states. The Supreme Court of the United States cannot make law. The Supreme Court of the United States is not the ultimate arbiter of the Constitution. James Madison so very clearly explains that the ultimate arbiters of the Constitution are the states themselves. They are the creators of the contract. They are the drafters of the contract. They are the people, the ones who actually ratified the contract, creating the federal government. The states are the creators of the federal government. They are the controllers of the federal government. It is time for us to understand the proper role and function of our government. Do not tell me Marbury versus Madison. That is circular logic. The Supreme Court cannot create an opinion that expands its own power. When the Supreme Court is the ultimate arbiter of its own power and its own authority, that is not a constitutional republic created by the people. That is an oligarchy where the power rests within the government itself. James Madison said, when the government controls the property of the people, that is not a just government. We need to realize that this is a constitutional republic. Government instituted among men, deriving its just power from the consent of the governed. If the federal government is not defined by the Constitution, why do we even have one? If the federal government is not limited in its power by the Constitution, then what is the limit of the federal government's power? If the federal government can dictate to the people and to the states how and when they can use their land, you are not a freeman. Freemen have control over their property. And when government dictates how you operate your property, the only thing missing in servitude are the physical chains. This is not about the Bundys. This is not about the Hammonds. This is about maintaining the integrity of the Constitution. This is about defending the constitutional republic. This is about making a defined and limited federal government that is under the power of the people in the states. So it's up to us to decide. Do we get led by the nose of the media narrative? Do we get controlled by the oligarchical power of the federal government? Or do we declare ourselves freemen? As our Constitution says, government instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. It is time to know the facts. It is time to stand for the truth. It is not about a person. It is not about people. It is about liberty. It is about power of the people, and it is about a limited and defined government. So I ask you today, what do you want? Do you want a constitutional republic where the people control the government, where the states are independent and sovereign? Or do you want a totalitarian oligarchy where a federal government decides what power it can have and it can own and how it can use that power with a pen and a phone or a law? Do we want an unlimited federal government? Or do we want to stand for what's right? Do we want to stand for what's true? I don't care what your politicians say. I don't care what your favorite presidential candidate says. The Constitution is the foundation of America. And if the federal government can set that aside, there is no limit on it at all. It's time, America. It is time to defend the republic. And it is time to put the federal government back in its limited and defined box. That will only happen when the people know the truth. Time to make that decision. If the people wish to be ignorant and free, we should wish for what never was and what never will be. Understand, we are the holders of the power. We are the owners of our property. And when a government dictates property, we are nothing. We are nothing but tributary slaves.
That is an outstanding video with an outstanding message. Wow. To me, that really personifies, I'll get the word right, that really personifies what is, at least on the surface, going on in Burns, Oregon. Okay, and I'm sure that had some, cause for her to make that video. And probably some of it was with the gun control speech. We better act now, because I'll tell you what, we don't own our country now. And when I'm saying that, I'm not saying as we, the people, don't own our government. I'm saying not even the United States government owns us. We're not. We were handing over the United Nations long ago. I mean, it's not ours. And we do have the ability to get it back. Oh, it's going to come at a cost. It's going to come at a nasty, bloody cost. But we can have it back. And I'm just saying, as one man sitting in my living room reaching out to you, it's worth it. Freedom is worth it. What we have today is not freedom. It's not. It's imaginary. It's an illusion. We don't have freedom. We don't. Freedom isn't granted to us because we've got 200 boxes of cereal to choose from in aisle 9. Okay? That's not freedom. That's consumerism. I'm probably just hacking that word all to hell, but consumer. Oh, you're muted. She muted herself that time.
People say I'm the disabled one.
You know, say that word for me then.
Consumerism.
Yeah, okay.
What's so hard about that?
Well, when your throat is like. You know, that's not freedom. It's not freedom. Just because we can choose a Ford, a Chevy, a Dodge, you know, or Saturn or Kia or whatever, that's not freedom. Again, that's consumerism. You know, that's all that it is. But we get confused. When we have flags that get removed off of places like Amazon and Walmart and all that, you know, you should be able to freely get a Confederate flag or a battle flag is more appropriate. You should be able to get that. There is no racism attached to that flag. There's not. It's just a flag. And you know what? Even our failed history, and I'm talking about even our personal failed history. Hey, I've got a lot of that in my history. We should be proud of. Because anything that has any value, you have to go through pain to get it. Am I right, Jen?
Yep.
You know, I sit here sometimes, and I'm probably my own biggest critic, but I get on to myself sometimes because I ache a lot. I do have some health issues. But then I see Jen, you know, and I'm going to say struggling or fighting just to be able to walk across the room, you know, and it sets me back. It tells me, you know, wait a minute, you know, yeah, you've got health issues, but you don't have that health issue. Geez, you know.
Well, I was born that way. I don't know anything else.
And she, you know, she just gets up and she does it. She walked today a half a mile. She went and had a job interview.
What did he do?
And walked with forearm crutches a half a mile, you know?
Why are people so shocked by that?
Because you don't see that a lot, babe.
Well, yeah.
You know, but, you know, back on topic, you know, I want freedom. Don't you want freedom? And you know what? I don't necessarily even want it so much for me. Give me a computer, a fast internet connection, and I'm pretty content. I won't speak a word. Okay? But I want it for my kids. You know what? I'm 43 years old. I know I mentioned that earlier. I'm 43 years old. And I went to high school at Highland High School, Highland, Illinois. And, you know, I look back at that school now, and it's like, holy cow, what happened? Cameras are plastered everywhere. You know, I mean, it's a prison compound. It's nothing like it used to be. When I went there, and I was one of the, you know, the ones your parents probably warned you about. And, you know, we had a lot of fun. And even though we didn't have a total freedom then, we sure now had more freedom than you do now. I mean, we didn't have 5,000 cameras watching us. We didn't have the stuff we pulled. And hey, let me tell you something. Those things bring character. Okay? Even the ones that you screw up and you get caught and you get in trouble. Again, I don't have a pristine past, but I've learned from every one of those experiences that I've gone through. As a country now, see, I'm tying this into where we're at today here. As a country, they're trying to erase history. In Common Core, they are stopping the teaching of writing cursive. There's a reason behind that, because if a child doesn't know how to read cursive, they can't read any of the important documents of the past. And a lot of people, when I started speaking about this 6-7 years ago, a lot of people thought I was crazy. They even thought I was crazy for saying that they were going to stop teaching cursive writing. People are like, you're nuts. I'm like, you watch it. Now, I'm not, some psychic. I pay attention. I'm not too lazy. I'm not too proud to read Agenda 21. You can learn a hell of a lot in Agenda 21. I urge everybody, 351 pages. Hey, it's on the watchmannews.com. You sign in, and it'll be under the info tab, important documents. You can even download your own copy of it from right there. If you don't, if you feel like I could have altered it or anything like that, go straight to the UN website. Same document. That's where I got it from. Now there's Agenda 2030. I don't know if I got that one up there. If I don't, I'll have to get it up there like tonight. But now they have Agenda 2030, which just is an extension of the other one. I got a copy of the NDAA 2012 up there. The Civilian Inmate Labor Program or something like that. It's up in there. Just check it out. It's don't cost you nothing. I won't spam you. I promise. I don't sell your email address to make money for advertising. And if you ever wondered about anything like that, you can check into SimGameit, SIMGAMEIT.com. It's no longer an active website, but I ran it for 6 years. It was a gaming website, and anybody will tell you I didn't spam them. I didn't, in fact, I refused to put advertising on the site when I could have made quite a bit of money doing it. But not everything in life is about making the Benjamins. See, I was trying to be cool and hip there, and blame my throat.
Just give it up.
So anyway, it's not all about me talking. I knew tonight was going to wind up like this. The one time wind up, the one time I shouldn't try to talk my butt off, I'm doing it. But anyway,
He hasn't been drinking, I swear.
No, I drink very, very rarely. So let me go ahead and move on. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let Obama speak. I don't like saying that. I'm going to let him speak. I'm going to play you the video, not the whole thing, but a little bit of his video about gun control. This guy is, I don't have, I try not to speak bad on people. I try not to wish bad on people. But hey, it's Obama. And hey, I voted for him the first term, so I have the right to say that, right? They always tell you, if you didn't vote, you don't have a right to complain. Well, his first term, I actually broke a promise to myself, which was to never vote. And I voted for him. And yeah, a little bit of disappointment there. But anyway, here he is. Let's get through his rambling and we can come back to mine. Yay!
Mr. President, it appears there's been another mass shooting in California. What do you know?
Well, we don't know that much yet. It's still an active situation. FBI is on the ground offering assistance to local officials as they need it. It does appear that there
wait a
are going to be
minute
some
here.
casualties. And,
I thought that,
obviously our
hang on.
hearts go out to the victims.
I thought I had a video from like yesterday, not from the San Bernardino. Wow. I can probably pull one up real quick. You probably already seen it, so I probably really don't even need to do it. But wow. I know Washington Post had something. Hang on. And this is crazy, right? In Google, all I have to do is start typing in Obama, and first thing, just Obama gun control speech. You don't think that your searches are monitored? They most definitely are. Here we go. I've got one for us right here from CNN. Although their server is obviously slow. We'll get to it, I promise.
We know we can't stop every act of violence, every act of evil in the world, but maybe we could try to stop one act of evil, one act of violence. So let me outline what we're going to be doing. Anybody in the business of selling firearms must get a license and conduct background checks or be subject to criminal prosecutions. We're going to hire more folks to process applications faster. We're going to do more to help those suffering from mental illness get the help that they need. We're going to boost gun safety technology. If we can set it up so you can't unlock your phone unless you got the right fingerprint, why can't we do the same thing for our guns? Second Amendment rights are important. There are other rights that we care about as well. Our unalienable right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, those rights were stripped from college kids in Blacksburg and Santa Barbara and from high schoolers at Columbine and from first graders in Newtown and from every family who never imagined that their loved one would be taken from our lives by a bullet from a gun.
How about a drone? How about the innocent kids and women and men that were killed by drones, Obama?
Every
what
time I
about
think
their
about those
inalienable
kids,
right?
it
Sorry.
gets me mad. And by the way, it happens on the streets of Chicago every day.
You know, it blows my mind. It really does.
It was perhaps the most emotional.
Hang on, let me get off of that. I can't seem to stop it from playing. So it blows my mind. They will use words like inalienable only when it supports their cause. But when you remind them that the Constitution included the Bill of Rights, which those rights were inalienable, including firearms, including. They don't understand that. That's when all of a sudden when this word meant this and this word meant that. And, hey, Obama, if there was armed people, loving, good armed people that were at any one of those places that you mentioned, how well do you think the bad guys could have carried out those acts? I want him to answer that question. Seriously. Because he wants to talk about the inalienable rights of life when it comes to this gun control issue and people killed by guns. But where's the inalienable rights of the babies that die in their womb? Where are those inalienable rights, Obama? Huh. So you just want to control who gets to live, who gets to die, and how they can do so. Ugh. Sorry. It just gets me. It really, really gets me. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I think everybody should have, like Chris Ann Hall talked about how different states, different territories, about how they were sovereign, how each one of them will be brought into the country as, an equal. Just because you were the first one that came in and this guy was the last one, they both still had equal rights. Why don't we treat each other the same way? Whether it's about newborn children, Oh, in any case, why don't, you know, when are we going to learn? This is the exact reason why I start out the show, or I have for now the last 12 shows, with a chapter out of Corinthians, because it pulls off our cloud. It yanks out that pride. Pride is not a good thing. It's not. Sure, you know, it's fine to have a little bit of personal pride. You know, you wash and wax your car, and, you know, it's all gleaming and it looks all nice in your yard and all that. Yeah, you know, it's a good thing. Where it turns bad is when you say, well, I got a better car than they do. That's where pride turns into evil. And it does that on so many fronts. Just taking that one example, you got somebody that's behind on his house payments because he had to have the $60,000 car. Why? Because his neighbor's got a $50,000 car. What sense does that make? You know, if people would read 1 Corinthians and do their best daily to live their life that way, wow. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy. We live very minimally. We don't have to have a lot. That's one of the things that I love so much about Jen, and that I see in her, is we don't have to have all brand name stuff. We don't, you know, we don't have to have, well, in a woman's case, she doesn't have to have 50 pairs of shoes. You know, we don't live that way. You know, we've got, what sweetheart did we pay for our coffee maker? Wasn't that like a $10 coffee maker?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't even tell you the time. It's your options are off and on. That's it. That's what you got. You know, Walmart's cheapest coffee maker, right? I'm good with it. I mean, I turned her into a coffee addict. You're good with it though, right?
Yeah.
You know, in fact, coffee is the only thing we actually splurge on. Out of everything in life, we get and I'm in no way affiliated with this company, but there's a company out of St. Louis called Thomas Coffee. A lot of Walmarts are carrying it. It's a white can. It's expensive. It's like 13 something for the bigger can, right? You can get, I mean, we got Maxwell House Smooth and Bold for, I think, a third of the price, the same size. I think it's the same size. But anyway, that's the only thing we splurge on. We get good coffee, you know, but I can't even drink coffee right now. That's how bad my throat is. But I'm here. It's all good. Hey, this message has to get out, you know. The best spokesperson or best one at getting the messages out. But, you know, at least I'm trying to do something, you know. In my mind the last 2-3 days, you know, it's come back up in my head, you know, what are people doing? What are they doing as individuals to contribute? And I had a small discussion with Jen about this yesterday. And, you know, contributing isn't going and working your 40 hours a week and paying your taxes. That's not, that's contributing to the system that's destroyed us, but it's not a real contribution, you know. And I don't expect everybody to run and put on their own radio show or do this or do that, you know. Hey, I'm not cut out for it. It's not for me, but I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for all of you. I'm doing it for my kids that I haven't even seen for 2 years, right? Because of that same bureaucratic system. You want to hear something crazy? Okay, I gave you my old website from way back, simgameit.com. Go into Google and type in simgameit, conversation with Brett, Brett, simgameit space conversation space with space Brett, and it'll pull up the video. That was the last time that I spoke to my son. That's the last time I spoke to him, right? And you can get from the context of the conversation I'm having with him that the problem wasn't me. Okay? There's a lot of harsh reality in that. but she's allowed to run and make any claims and do whatever she wants to do. And I'm not even allowed to speak to my children. Wow. That's this country. And that's this country's agenda, to get the fathers away from the families. You can say I got a tinfoil hat all you want, but I'm telling you, I'm dead on. I've read all the information. I've seen government documents, both classified and unclassified, that explain an entire outline to bring people to its knees. And guess what? We're falling now. We're falling now. We've lost our balance. We're about to crash our knees into the ground, and they're going to slam their boots straight down on our heads. The only way to do it, to stop it, the only way to get beyond this is for each and every one of us to contribute in whatever way you can. If that means by liking and sharing this show, telling somebody, hey, I know this goofy, crazy guy that got a bad voice, but he does radio anyway, that's one way to contribute. Seriously, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear this kind of stuff. A lot of people don't, ooh, that's the reality. I don't like reality. I'm going to turn my TV show back on. Movie Airplane. All of a sudden, this scene comes to mind. I don't know why, but this woman's freaking out in the chair in the airplane, right? And there's a line of people lined up, walking down the aisle, slapping her, get out of it, smack, And they're probably 25, 30 people standing in line getting ready to smack this woman in the face. Have you seen the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, classic. It's classic. But that's what, and I'm not telling you to go slap your loved ones or even your enemies, but that's what we need in this country. And we are having the great awakening. We really are. I try to watch a little bit of everybody. I try to watch Alex Jones. I enjoy watching Pete Santilli. I try to catch a little bit of Hagman and Hagman. I like to get a bunch of sources and take as much in as I can, because we all have something to contribute to the conversation. And so do you. You just have to start doing it. Go to your loved ones, the ones that are so sick of hearing you talk about this crazy stuff. Approach them with a different, a different view. Go take their coffee. There you go. It'd be like coming to our home and taking our coffee away from us. What are you doing? Put the coffee back. That's what you need to do. They're madly in love with their brand new cell phone. Grab their phone from them. I don't mean take it, but just grab their phone from them. They're going to ask you, what are you doing? Give me my phone back. Just say no. Because that's what's happening to everything important in our country. We're getting it taken away from us, and we're not getting the option to give it back. When have you ever seen government give back? Oh, I know, tax time. Ooh, I got a few $100s. They're not giving you nothing back. You earn that money. That's your money. And technically, by all the documents, you shouldn't have had to pay that money anyway, unless you own a company. Well, who is it? A corporation. Who is it that's getting out of paying taxes by loopholes? The corporations. And so the burden's put on us. Remember, Stockholm Syndrome. Check it out. The system is absurd. It's insane. And some people think, I need medication. No. I need a free and truthful government. And the only way we're going to be able to get that is to take our country back. We don't need anything new. We've got the best founding papers of this that any nation could ever want. We have to just start living by it again. And if that has to start in Burns, Oregon, let it be. That's what I've got for you tonight, folks. Hopefully I did a halfway decent job. Wow. I'll be back. I don't care if I have to write on paper and Jen has to say what I'm writing. I will be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. If something happens important, what the heck is that noise I'm hearing? That's interesting. If something happens in the meantime, I will go up live and I will cover that. I promise you. I don't know what that noise was, but I think
Big Sky Dreamer 26, the only person who came into the chat, said, drink some hot peppermint tea. Your throat will be better in no time.
I'll have to check that out. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll have to check that out. I've been staying away from the tea because when I drink it, it kind of actually hurts my voice. Wow, I have something coming in on the audio that is atrocious. Let me find out where it's coming in. Oh, apparently that was a short in my headset. Oh, wow. Look what I get to take apart and fix. Okay, and they're brand new, by the way, but they're like $12 headsets because that's all we could afford. So, but anyway, that's what I have for you tonight. Just take the message out there and run with it. If it's not what I'm saying or one of my videos, just somebody's. Just take information out there and run with it. Okay, check out the WatchmanNews.com. It's a pretty decent site, and it will be built huge in just a short matter of time. And so there's pretty much any usernames available at this point. We don't have a whole lot of people registered at this point, but it's only been a week. But check it out, see what you think. And by the way, go check that out. Seriously, do me a favor, right? Just knowing that people see it and hear it. Google Sim Game It Conversation with Brett. Please, please. It'll make me feel good just knowing that other people, I don't use that YouTube channel no more. So if you want to comment or talk to me about it, go to the website. There's a contact us form. Just contact me. I really would. I'd really love just somebody to say, hey, wow, that's crazy, whatever, just anything. It's been 2 years and,
you put 2015.
Oh, well, it's not 2015, it's 2016. But anyway, it's rough because my boys were the most important thing in my life. And I don't know what to say. Our intro video, that is me and my boys. I have 3 total. But that was me and my boys, and I can't even talk to them. And they're allowed to live and be with a woman that drinks nonstop like a fish and yells and screams and cusses them and treats them as horrible people. And they're not. They're awesome little boys. So with that, I'll say good night. Be one with your spirit. Go in peace and be with love. Goodbye.